All right, we're ready to go. So I'm going to insert the battery, and when I do that and turn it on, what we're going to hear is a click from the igniter. That's all we're going to hear. We're going to hear an audible click, I guess, within like 3 seconds of turning it on. Once we do that, we're going to get power to the fan, and then we can ignite because we've got the tank on now. Hey guys, I'm Eric Ani from mechanicalhub.com. I'm in my shop. It's a little bit messy. It's winter time. I'm in the heat of the battle, but I am going to do a review today on this. This is the Milwaukee M18 70,000 BTU forced air propane heater. So, in other words, what we call this in the Northland is a torpedo heater. Although this one's a little bit different, admittedly, because Milwaukee has made this dual power, which isn't very common for their tools, by the way. Let's get it out of the box, just to show you what you can expect to have shipped with it. Your kneeling pad / reference chart. All right, so as you can see, torpedo heater, LP powered. I've got a tank over there. We'll get this all hooked up. But in the box, you've got a handle, so there's a little bit of assembly needed here. You've got 4 screws to put that handle on. Look at this. Bonus points for Eric using a Milwaukee drill and a Milwaukee tool review. Leave it to me to have something else on hand. Not today. All right, we're almost there. Look at this. The assembly is pretty simple. They've got nice little tappings. All right, there you go. All right, so now we have a portable 70,000 BTU LP heater that is either battery powered off the M18 platform. So you can use M18 red lithium batteries, you can use the M18 or the forged batteries. And it's gonna be hard to see on camera, but they have a plug opening here. This is the male end where you would insert your extension cord. All right, pretty basic when it comes to propane heaters. You've got a couple components that make this thing operate. First, you need a power source, and that's for your ignition and for the blower on the back of the unit here. So there's an internal blower that's going to blow the heat out the end of the tube. You have to have an on-off in one way or another, and since this is electronics, you're going to have an actual rocker switch. There is a dial for temperature control right here. So you've got variable output up to 70,000 BTUs, and then you've got an ignition button there. So let me get this all hooked up, and let's fire it up, see how it works. All right, so pretty basic connection points here. They've got this hose that's got the regulator included, of course. That's pretty standard issue for any type of portable heater. Of course, I have to get this thing all untangled. Look at that. Okay, there we go. This end here did have a little rubber cap on the end of the hose. I had to take it off. It's going to connect here where there is another rubber cap protecting that flare fitting. So get this going here. Brass fittings. Look pretty nice, actually. All right. I think this is a 10-foot hose. Well, maybe not. Let's see what the specs say in the box. It says it has a hose. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure on the length. Before we get this hooked up, though, check this out. It does have this nice little onboard hose storage set up. I guess maybe it matters which way you put it on here. Man, this hose is a little unruly today. That's all I got to say. Looks like you can wrap it around. See how it really goes on all the way, or if it goes on all the way. Maybe as you use this hose, it gets a little easier to work with, I'm hoping. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, I don't hate it. There's a little clip here. Wonder how long that'll actually last, but okay, there we go. This is the 70,000 BTU variable output torpedo or M18 forced air propane heater. All right, so this will be powered off of the M18 or the Forge battery system, 18 volts. It has a 30,000 BTU output up to 70,000 BTUs. It weighs about 15 pounds on its own, and it's about 21, 22 inches long. All right, so now 18 volt power or the plug-in, as we've talked about already, for 120 volts, so you're going to have continuous operation power-wise, uninterrupted. I've got a 20-pound cylinder. Believe it or not, it's brand new. It's probably been sitting in the shop for a while since I switched to the wood pellet grill. All right, here we go. We'll just get this hooked up real quick. I'll move the tank onto the floor, of course. You're gonna wanna unwrap, and no power tools or hand tools required for this connection. It's LP, so it is in reverse. That's how they do these tank threads. All right, now what you should do is check for leaks on the gas hose, right? I'm gonna do that real quick. I do have some soapy water here. Let that sit there for a second. Looks like good. All right, we're ready to go. So I'm going to insert the battery, and when I do that and turn it on, what we're going to hear is a click from the igniter. That's all we're going to hear. We're going to hear an audible click, I guess, within like 3 seconds of turning it on. Once we do that, we're going to get power to the fan, and then we can ignite because we've got the tank on now. I've got this is a XC 6.0 battery in it. They do say on the box and in the literature that this has up to 21-hour runtime on a fully charged 5.0 battery. We'll turn it on. Immediately you hear the igniter going. Can you hear that? That clicking noise. We've got power to the fan. If I hold this down, we should have ignition within a couple seconds. It's got to heat up that thermocouple, which keeps the gas valve open. Okay, there we go. We've got flame in the burner. It's warm, that's for sure. And I've got it on high right now. Let's see, pick up the noise level. It's pretty quiet on low, that's for sure. There you go, that's the gist of it. What you've got is a flame, you've got a single nozzle burner, and with the added air flowing through the chamber, that whole combustion process is producing a ton of heat, and it's directed out the end of the tube like that. So that's why we call it a torpedo. It's going to basically heat where you point it. This one, they say on the box, with the 70,000 BTUs, it'll heat up to 1,700 square feet. Well, a couple things you want to think about when using temporary heat like this. This is not for any room you're going to sleep in. This is not for actually your living space at all. This is temporary, and you need to be cognizant of the fact that this is producing carbon monoxide that is just going into the space, into the room. A certain amount of exposure to carbon monoxide is deadly, depending on levels of exposure and length of time. And they call it the silent killer, right? So like, be careful when using these things inside of a structure like a garage like this. In fact, I'm just going to turn it off right now. This is not made for something like a fish house. We're getting some smoking out the end of it. That's just the new metal, kind of oils on the metal burning off. You should You know, these are awesome for use outside in temporary structures where you're well ventilated. They're great for temporary space heating in like a garage, like I said. But you know, you got to be very, very careful when you're burning something like this with that open flame and exhaust into the space. But all right, so that is the M18 powered / 120 volt powered torpedo heater from Milwaukee. This is catalog number 08120. Let's talk about cost real quick. So bare tool price, meaning no LP tank, okay, and no battery with charger. This is just the hose and the heater. $229 retail. I found that same price pretty much everywhere Milwaukee is sold, so that's kind of how online it's selling quite well and people do like it. I think a battery operated torpedo like this, if it's truly going to run for more than 3-4 hours, if you're going to get 8, 10, 15 or 20 hours runtime out of something like this, I'm off of a battery, that's phenomenal, okay? Battery power with this is nice, makes it a lot more portable, of course, and you could bring this pretty much anywhere because you're not going to need to plug it in. There you go. Torpedo heater from Milwaukee, $229 retail, available now. I think they're selling quite well online, so I'm going to give it a shot. Have a good one.